Hey guys, so I'm back home from my display at the Living Well store for my living water, and it was a massive success. Massive success. We had a tremendous amount of interest from people. We sold a lot of bottles of water. People were extremely interested. What's interesting is that the common theme that I kept hearing from people is they were so excited that this living water is naturally alkaline, because a lot of people realize the health benefits of drinking alkaline water. But what a lot of people don't know is that most alkaline water on the market is basically chemically altered. They add sodium bicarbonate, baking soda to it, or other chemicals to raise the pH. And so, in fact, the general manager of the Living Well store was saying that she recently developed a kidney infection from drinking alkaline water because of the sodium bicarbonate that's in it. And the good news is the Living Well store is interested in carrying living water on their shelves. This is great, as it's the world's largest Christian bookstore. So again, today was just a massive success. We had a really nice table set up with probably 60, 80 bottles of living water on the table. I had an iPad set up with a slideshow showing the birth of the Living Water Ministry, pictures of the farm where it comes from, videos that show the bottling process, the rainbow that God showed to me on the day when I heard Darryl Strawberry speak, the day that God inspired me with the Living Water Ministry. So it was just a phenomenal and massive success. So I praise God for his leadership, his guidance, and the fact that he is my business partner. And I also had a lot of opportunity to share some of the history, the story behind Living Water. I shared with people the inspiration for the ministry, how Jesus met the woman at the well, the Samaritan woman, and he spoke to her first. In fact, I was speaking with one lady about this because she was very intrigued by the story. I said Jesus spoke to her first, which was very unusual. It was unusual for a man to speak to a woman. It was also unusual for a Samaritan woman to be out by herself during the day, because like many cultures even today, like in Afghanistan, in those days, women did not go out walking by themselves. They would always be accompanied either by other women or by a man. And a woman who was out walking by herself was basically considered to be loose. And the second reason it was unusual that she was out to get water during the day is the women typically went to get water in the evening, so they wouldn't be seen. And number two, because it wasn't so hot in the evenings. And so, all of these unusual elements of the story. And then Jesus spoke to her first. And that was unusual for a couple of reasons. Number one, most men wouldn't speak to women for several reasons. Number one, it was considered too forward. Number two, women were looked down upon in that society. They were not considered as equals with men. But Jesus, in his love, he spoke to her first, and he said, "Give me something to drink." And so she did. And then Jesus told her, "Bring your husband." She said, "Well, I don't have a husband." And Jesus said, "You're right. You've had 5 husbands, and the man that you're living with now is not your husband." But he wasn't judgmental. He spoke to her. He pointed out her wrongs and what the things she had done, but he was not judgmental. In fact, he treated her with love, because the next thing he said is, "If you drink the water that I have for you, the true living water, you will never thirst again." And how does that story end? That woman goes back to her village and she starts sharing her story with everybody. She says, "I met a man today who told me everything I ever did." So, this is what happens when we share our stories. Other people take that story and they share it. So that's what's happening right now with Living Water. Gave out lots of flyers that have the Living Water website where I share my entire story about what God did for me and how he rescued me from the place that I was in my life and delivered me. So very, very thankful for what God did for me today. Hope you guys are having a great day.